The air, thin and sharp as a flint flake, promises blood. Below the ridge, a lone woolly bison pushes its massive head through the thin layer of early snow, searching for the ghost of last season's grass. The clan is a scattered line of low, powerful bodies, patient as the stones they lie behind. This is the rhythm of prehistoric life, and ancient doubts of hunger and opportunity. The wind shifts, carrying the scent of the hunters of sweat, wood smoke, and old hides. The bison's head jerks up. It is now or never. The lead hunter, Tarakay, rises, his moose-terrier spear-pointed arc triangle against the grey sky. But it is not Tarakay who halts the attack. It is the old man, Kale, who makes a sharp, cutting gesture with his hand. He is not looking at the prey. He is looking at the sky. The clouds are wrong. They are not the soft, scattered puffs of a benign morning. A bruised, purple-grey mouse is gathering on the horizon, moving with an unnatural speed, swallowing the peaks. Kale has seen this before, but only in the stories of his grandfather, a winter that ate a generation. He barks a command, a sound less like language and more like rockfall. The hunt is over. The confusion on the younger faces is quickly replaced by a deeper, instinctual fear as they see the approaching wall of white. The Pleistocene megafauna below is forgotten. A phantom feast. Survival has a new calculus. The choice is made not by committee, but by the cold weight of careless certainty. The community responds as a single organism. Mothers pull their children close, snatching up hide bags containing precious tools and dried meat scraps. The hunters retrieve their spears, their gaze now fixed on the only goal that matters, the rock shelter, a half-day's trek down the valley. They move with a heavy, ground-eating gait, a testament to a lineage of ancient humans shaped by endurance. The first flakes of snow, tiny and dry, begin to fall. Within minutes, they are a blinding torrent, driven by a wind that screams. The world dissolves into a churning chaos of white and grey. They can no longer see the valley floor, only the back of the person in front of them. Kale leads, his memory of the landscape their only map in this featureless void. They reach the shelter, the dark slash in a limestone cliff. Just as their strength begins to fail, they stumble inside, collapsing onto the cold stone floor, chests heaving, the sound of their breathing loud against the storm's howl. For a moment, there is only relief. They have cheated the storm. They have won. But as the hours pass, the howl outside softens. Muffled, Tarakay rolls to the entrance. The opening, once a wide panorama of the valley, is now a shrinking crescent of pale, ghostly light. The snow is not just falling, it is building, a silent, white wave cresting against their sanctuary. The relief in his gut curd a less into a cold, heavy knot. They are not sheltered from the storm. They are buried by it. The world shrinks to the size of a single breath. Time loses its shape, marked only by the small, disciplined rituals of survival. The fire, a greedy god in the center of their stone womb, is fed sliver by sliver, its light pushing a weak, flickering circle against an immense, pressing darkness. The light from the entrance is gone, replaced by a dense, compacted wall of white that glows with a faint, dead luminescence. The sound of the storm has been replaced by a silence so profound it is weight. A drip of water from the ceiling, the scrape of a flint tool. A child's whimper each sound is a stark event in the muffled quiet. This chapter of hominid history is written not in stone, but in the slow burn of calories in the fraying of nerves. The bison meat, once a promise of strength, is now a source of conflict. Kale rations it with the precision of a master toolmaker. Each strip of dried flesh a carefully considered investment in one more day of life. The hunger is a living thing inside the cave. It gnaws at their bellies, but it feasts on their minds. The forced idleness is a poison for hunters built for motion. Tarakay paces the confines of the shelter, his powerful muscles cramping from inaction. His eyes, accustomed to scanning vast horizons, now have only the same few faces to stare at. Faces growing unter and more hollow each day, the small irritations of community life. once easily smoothed over by the space of the open world, now fester in the dark. A misplaced tool, a cough that lasts too long. The way someone chews their meager portion all becomes sparks in a space thick with combustible despair. The clan's social cohesion, the invisible sinew that binds them, begins to stretch and tear. Terrakea's faction grows. They are the young, the strong, those who believe their strength is a weapon being left to rust. They argue that true weight is to choose to die. The snow may never melt. One of them growls, his voice a low rumble. We become bones for a future sun to find. Kale sits by the fire, his face a mask of exhausted patience. He understands their fear. It is his own. But his age has taught him a different kind of math. He points a trembling finger at the woodpile, now a pathetic mound of sticks. He points to the shrunken, empty hide bags, and attempts to dig out. He argues through gesture and guttural sounds. Would consume what little energy they have left. They break out, even if successful, would lead them into a world with no landmarks, no game, and a cold that would kill them in hours. Their only true weapon, he insists, is their discipline. It is an argument of intelligence against instinct, a foresight against desperation. Ilara, a young mother, offers a quiet counter-argument. Her child shivers with the fever, his breathing shallow. She holds a small lump of reed ochre, a sacred substance, and in a gesture of profound love, begins grinding it. She is not preparing for a ritual. She mixes the powder with the last of their rendered fat, creating a warm paste she rubs on the child's chest, a desperate, tender act of altruism that highlights their dwindling resources. The gesture sharpens the divide. Is it better to die fighting the storm, or die watching your child fade in the dark? The tension finally snaps. Terrakay grabs a shovel made from a scapula. He stands, his silhouette a threat against the firelight. He will not wait for the cold to take them from the inside. He will break the world open. Kel rises, not with the explosive energy of a challenger, but with the slow, deliberate grace of a falling stone. He does not meet Terrakay's fiery gaze. Instead, he walks past him, his hand brushing the hide of Ilara's sick child, a silent acknowledgement of her pain. He reaches the wall of snow, the source of their confinement and, paradoxically, their insulation from the killing cold. He places a hand on its frozen surface. If this were a scene in some grand evolution documentary, this would be the turning point, the moment the balance of power shifts. He turns back to face his clone, his family of hominy Neanderthalensis. There is no anger in his eyes, only a deep, profound weariness. He speaks, his voice a dry rasp, and the words, "Those you," are heavy with the weight of a lifetime's survival skills. He will go, he will be the one to dig. It is not a challenge, but a judgment, a verdict on their broken spirit. Terrakay understands instantly. The old man is not offering to lead and escape. He is offering himself as a sacrifice. He is the eldest. He has lived his seasons. His portion of the remaining food, his drain on the precious firewood, would be better spent on the young, on the future. His attempt to dig would be a final, desperate act, exhausting his last reserves of strength and ending his life just outside the shelter's suffocating embrace. It is an act of supreme, brutal altruism. The raw energy animating Terrakay collapses inward, imploding into a knot of shame. The scapular shovel falls from his hand, clattering on the stone floor. Ilara lets out a choked sob. The internal war is over, extinguished not by a victory, but by a devastating act of love. This moment becomes a part of their unwritten ancient history, a lesson paid for in near despair. The clan coalesces, drawn together by the gravity of Kayla's offer. They huddle around him, their collective warmth a silent apology, a renewed promise. They do not let him go. Instead, they wait, bound by a new, more somber patience. A week passes. Then, a new sound breaks the silence. A soft, persistent sound. The tick of a single drop, then another, then another. It is the sound of water. A single, Dark line of moisture bisects the snow wall. A chair on the face of their white prison. Hope, when it finally comes, is not a triumphant chore but a quiet, steady drip. The thaw has begun. Now, they work as one. Their actions are a model of cognitive flexibility, shifting from the passive endurance scale preached to a focused, collective effort Terra now leads. They do not attack the wall with frantic energy. They carefully, methodically, scrape away the softening inner layers, aiding the sun they cannot see, conserving every calorie. After 2 more days, a small hole is opened, and a shaft of blinding, brilliant light stabs the darkness. Terra peers through. He sees a world transformed, a landscape of impossible white, but a world that is open. It is a world without landmarks, a world where the hunt must begin anew, a world of immense hardship. But it is a world they can walk in. One by one, they crawl from the darkness, their faces pale, their bodies thin, emerging from the tomb not as conquerors, but as ghosts, blinking in the harsh, beautiful, and unforgiving light. They stand in the vast, silent cathedral of the post-storm world, a small, fragile testament to the brutal arithmetic of life. Their survival was not a triumph of strength, but a victory of cohesion, a rediscovery of the trust they almost lost in the dark. Across the frozen continents, thousands of clans of these human ancestors face their own unique crucibles, their stories lost to time, their existence known only through a fractured femur or a carefully worked piece of flint that archaeology uncovers 100,000 years later. Each story is a laboratory of the human spirit, testing the precise formula of intelligence, cooperation, and sacrifice needed to persist. Their choices, made under unimaginable pressure, are more than just footnotes in the story of human evolution. They are the source code. The social contract that governs us today was not first written on paper or stone, but in the grim necessities of a shared fire, in the silent calculation of who eats, and in the profound, terrible understanding that a group can only survive if its members are willing to die for it. How many of our own instincts were forged in such suffocating darkness, waiting for a crack of light in a wall of snow? The oldest stories are not written. They are carried in the blood, waiting for the cold to remind us. And what happens when the ones who return are no longer the same?